Hello students, I am teacher Svetlana and in our today's lecture we will learn about the blood vessels, blood pressure, the electrocardiogram and the lymphatic system which is covered in the chapter Respiration and Circulation. So let's begin. Blood vessels. There are three main types of blood vessels in the human circulatory system, which are arteries, veins and capillaries. Have a look at this image here. First we begin with the arteries. The blood vessels which carry blood away from the heart are called as arteries. Arteries form arterioles and in turn divide and redivide to form capillaries. So this is your arteries. These are responsible for carrying the blood from the heart to the other parts of the bodies. And if you have a look at it, you can see that they are thick walled. These arteries break into arterioles. They show high blood pressures. They show three layers, that is the tunica externa or adventia, tunica media and the tunica interna. Arteries carry oxygenated blood to all parts of the body except the pulmonary artery, and arteries are devoid of walls. This here is how a vein looks. Now veins, these are vessels which carry blood to the heart, and so they are basically carrying blood from the different parts of a body back to your heart. They have a broad lumen and they show low blood pressures. So here you can see the lumen is broad, but you can see that they are thin walled venules unit to form large veins. They show least blood pressures. They also have three layers, that is the tunica externa, tunica mediana and tunica interna. Veins carry deoxygenated blood towards the heart except the pulmonary veins. Veins show walls at regular intervals. And this here is your capillaries. Capillaries are the thinnest of the blood vessels and they are formed by division and redivision of the arterioles. Capillaries unite to form venules. Venules join to form veins. So here you can see that when the arteries break into capillaries, and capillaries, they unite to form veins. Very thin, and they have a very thin and a very permeable wall. Exchange of material takes place through these capillary walls. We also have a stream called as angiology, which is dedicated to the studies of blood vessels. Students, now let us try and understand what is a pulse. It is a series of pressure waves that travels to the arteries due to ventricular systole. It is the strongest in the arteries close to the heart and gradually becomes weak in the arteries away from the heart. It can be felt easily in the superficial arteries like the radial artery in the wrist and the carotid artery in the neck. The pulse can be felt at particular points on the body. Pulse rate is equal to your heart rate. The pulse rate higher than normal, that is above 100 beats per minute, is called as tachycardia, and slow pulse rate below 60 beats per minute than normal is called as bradycardia. Here in this image you can see the different major pulse points that are present in the human body. Next up is blood pressure, which is also denoted as BP. The pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of the blood vessels is called as blood pressure. It is measured using a sphygmomanometer. It is usually measured from the arteries. Have a look at this image here. You can see when the blood pumps through the arteries, the blood puts a pressure on the arterial wall. This pressure is known as blood pressure. The blood pressure is measurement of the force applied onto the artery walls. Arterial blood pressure. Pressure exerted by the blood on the walls of the artery is called as the arterial blood pressure. Pressure on the arterial wall during ventricular contraction, that is the systole, is the systolic pressure. SP for a normal healthy adult, the average value is around 120 mmHg. Pressure on the arterial wall during relaxation of the ventricles is called as the diastolic pressure, DP. For the normal healthy adult, it is 80 mm of Hg. Now your BP is equal to SP by TP, which is 120 by 80 mm Hg. Blood pressure is normally written as 120 by 80 mm Hg. Difference between the systolic and diastolic blood pressure is called as pulse pressure. Normally it is 40 mm Hg. Have a look at this image here. You can see this blood vessels. The conditions here are normal. Here it is pre-hypertension, and here when there is hypertension, that is when the vessel narrows. So you have the systolic pressure. It is measurement between when the heart contracts, and diastolic, it's the measurement between beats when the heart relaxes. Students, we have a number of factors which affect the arterial blood pressures, which include your cardiac output, the peripheral resistance, blood volume, length and diameter of the blood vessels, viscosity of the blood, age of the individual, gender, venous return. Venous return is basically the amount of blood brought to the heart via the veins per unit time. This is called as venous return, and it is directly proportional to your blood pressure. Then we have sleep, emotions, exercise, anxiety. These are all the factors which affect the blood pressure of an individual. Measurement of blood pressure. Students, blood pressure is measured with the help of an instrument called as sphygmomanometer. And this is the instrument, students, and this instrument consists of inflatable rubber bag, cuff covered by a cotton cloth. It is connected with the help of tubes to a mercury manometer on one side and a rubber bulb on the other side. During measurement, the person is asked to lie in a sleeping posture. The instrument is placed at the level of the heart, and here you can see in this image, the cuff is tightly wrapped around the upper arm. The cuff is inflated till the brachial artery is blocked due to external pressure. The pressure is then cut slowly and it is lowered till the first pulsatile sound is heard. At this moment, the pressure indicated in the manometer is systolic pressure. Sound heard during the measurement of the blood pressure are called as the Korotov sound. So here you can see this thing is carried out, and the pressure in the cuff is further lowered till any pulsatile sound cannot be heard due to smooth blood flow. At this moment, the pressure indicated in the manometer is the diastolic pressure. An optimum blood pressure level read is 120 to 180 mmHg. So here you can see the systolic pressure is being measured, which comes to 120 mmHg, and here the diastolic pressure is measured where the sound disappears, which is, and the blood is free flowing, which comes to 80 mmHg. Hypertension. Persistently raised blood pressure higher than the normal is called as hypertension. So if it is 140 by 90 mmHg, it is called as the threshold of hypertension, and the 180 by 120 mmHg and the higher readings are dangerous to the health. It may damage the heart, brain and kidneys. Under the condition of hypertension, heart uses more energy for pumping, which causes angina pectoris. This is chest pains due to lowered blood supply to the cardiac muscle, and it may lead to myocardial infarctions. There are more chances of brain hemorrhage due to hypertension, as arteries in the brains are less protected by surrounding tissues as compared to other organs. In kidney, hypertension may cause kidney failure. Have a look at this image here. This is a normal healthy vein. So normal internal diameter is that increase in the thickness of your walls reduces the interior diameter. Here you can see, so there is narrowing of the diameter, which gives rise to the condition called as hypertension. Coronary artery disease, it is also known as arteriosclerosis. In this, calcium, fat, cholesterol and fibrous tissues get deposited in the blood vessels supplying blood to your heart muscle, making the lumen narrow. So you can see here, this is inside your artery, the blood inside your artery, and in this case here there is restriction to the flow of the blood because of the deposition of the material inside, which narrows the arteries. Angina pectoris, it is the pain in the chest resulting from the reduction in your blood supply to the cardiac muscle. This happens again because of arteriosclerosis. It is characterized by severe pain and heaviness in the chest. The pain may spread to the neck, lower jaw, left arm and left shoulder. The pain usually results from exertion when there is more demand of oxygen by the heart, but the supply does not meet the requirement. So in this image you can see the normal pressure, the normal artery, the built up on your artery, and finally the plaques which cause high blood pressures. Electrocardiogram, graphical recording of the electrical variations detected at the surface of the body during their propagation to the walls of the heart, is called as the electrocardiogram or the ECG. This recording may be in the form of printout or on-screen display. The instrument used for this recording is called as the ECG machine or the electrocardiogram. This instrument detects and amplifies the signals. Now, various electrodes are used for recording of the signals. 4 electrodes are positioned on the lymph. You can see here 2 on the arms and 2 on the legs. These are lymph electrodes. 6 are positioned on the chest. These are called as the chest electrodes. Now students, have a look here. A normal ECG consists of different types of waves such as the P wave, then we have the QRS complex wave, and then we have the T wave. Now this P wave here is upward and it is small. The impulse is generated by the SA node. Arterial repolarization causes the arterial contraction. The QRS complex, downwards it's larger and upward triangular. So you can see it's one of the largest wave here. It is the spreading of the impulse from the SA node to the AV node, then to the bundle of His and the Purkinje fibers. The ventricular depolarization is causing the ventricular contraction here. Then we have your T wave, which is broad and it is upwards. It is no impulse that is there, no new impulse causes this wave. Now ventricular repolarization causing ventricular relaxation is denoted by this wave. Abnormal functioning of heart such as the coronary artery diseases, heart block, angina pectoris, tachycardia, ischemic heart disease, myocardial infarctions, cardiac arrest, etc. can be diagnosed by the ECG. The lymphatic system consists of the lymph, lymphatic vessel, some organs and tissues. The word lymph means clear water. It is the fluid connective tissue with almost similar composition of the blood except the RBCs, platelets and some proteins. So these components which are present in the blood are not present in the lymph. Fluid from the intracellular space of the blood tissue enters into the lymphatic vessels. From here it is discharged into the blood vessels, that is veins, through the thoracic duct and the right lymphatic duct. Have a look at this image here. The green one shows you your lymphatic capillaries and here the arrow shows the direction of the flow of lymph and the blood. Now the functions of your lymphatic system, they drain out the excess tissue fluids from the extracellular space back into the blood, transport of carbon dioxide and metabolic waste from the tissue fluids, and transport of lymphocytes and antibodies for the from the lymphatic nodes to the blood. They also transport absorbed fats from the intestine to the blood, deconstruction of the invading microorganisms and foreign particles which is carried out in the lymph node. Thank you students for participating in this lecture. See you soon again with the next topic. Till then, take care, be safe and keep learning.